Hangout on air is live. Looking to talk cash. Howdy. How you guys doing? Waiting a quick second before anybody got online, but wanted to have a little late night chat, see who's available, see who wants to chit chat, and more importantly, want to get some viewer feedback. So as you can see above my head, I have a toll-free number for you to call. So I want to start today's chat off by simply mentioning about the subject of cash. Didn't have time to prepare a video today, a RTD News video, but definitely it's some stuff happening right now that I think is very important. It has to do with cash and how it's dangerous on several fronts. And one of those being that not only is one of the nominees for the Federal Reserve against cash, but then on the other hand, we need cash temporarily to use to spend and to save and things like that, even though it doesn't retain purchasing power. So I wanted to share a couple articles and also get your feedback on the subject of cash and how cash will be viewed in days ahead. So I figure I'll try a late night conversation, see who's up and about wanting to talk. And so we have a couple people on, Mr. Jesse James and Collusion Cola. How you doing, my friend? Want to get some chit chat going. Anybody want to talk? Before I actually get into those articles, I want to test out this toll-free line that I have. I want to see if you guys are willing and wanting and able to call in, because it's free, and share your thoughts on this subject matter. And so at any point, as you see the number above my head, I want to try it out. Is there any brave soul out there willing to drop me a call and share their thoughts? So Jesse James, you got time to give your boy a call? What's the price? What's the price right now? I haven't checked it. Anybody got the price of 14K? Calling now. Hit resistance, not able to correct. Yeah, so we are experiencing something. I mean, the fact that it's Bitcoin price is spiking continuously is it's amazing. $14,282.80. Crazy. It's crazy. So I have someone calling in. Let's see see how this plays out. Very first call.
Call for extension 0 to accept. Press 1 to send a voicemail.
Oh, I have someone. Hello. See how this plays out. Very first call. Hello.
Hi, I'm here.
Hi there. How you doing?
I want to start out by saying I love your show.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. What?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you mute your computer? Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear everything you're saying. It's just a delay.
Okay, so I can hear myself from your computer. Can you hear me?
Okay, I turned it down.
Okay, sounds good. So hi. So what's your first name and where you calling from, may I ask?
Sure. Well, online I'm Silver Star, but I can tell you my name. My name is Deshawn, and I am in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Las Vegas, Nevada. Okay. So how's everything out in Las Vegas going?
Well, I mean, if you are a person, well, I'm a board certified massage therapist, And I say that to let you know like what I do for a living. So basically, I'm in a cash-based industry, right? Even if the person pays with their credit card, you know, they're charged right away. So I consider that a cash-based industry, and it's also something that a service that only a person that has a certain discretionary income would even think about partaking.
Right.
Because the service that I work for, it's about $200 an hour, and then we go on site and we do the massage. So they're not like a lot of people that are financially strapped.
Right.
You know, paying $200 for, you know, someone to rub their back, right?
Right.
So I noticed, and actually I noticed a huge change in the economy here post 9/11. Okay. Right? But that's going too far back. I'm dating myself. I just want you to know I'm still sexy. I'm still in good shape. I want you to know that.
That sounds good.
Recently, it has the only people that seem to have cash are the people that are like foreign nationals. So those are people from the Arab Emirates and people from Asia. Yeah. Right. Most Americans, even if they have a good job, they don't really have cash anymore. They're just living off of credit. So they're kind of living off of borrowed time, as I say.
All right, I do agree. And so like disposable income is like, just if you look at the graphs from the Federal Reserve itself, it's just everything is dwindling as far as people actually having cash left over after the cost of living. And so that kind of plays into one of the things I want to touch on about how we need cash temporarily, but how dangerous it is because holding it for too long, because the Fed is going for inflation, it's only loses purchasing power. So we're kind of stuck in a tug of war game between a monetary policy as well as the decisions our governments make, to where, you know, no matter what, at the end of the day, Federal Reserve note is going to cause a lot of problems, in my opinion, and we're starting to feel the pinch of that right now. So, but that is definitely something worth mentioning. Now, when it comes to cash, do you think we're going to have much time? Do you see it like within the next 5-10 years? What are your thoughts as far as us still using it and actually?
No way do we have 10 years because it is already, like I said, it's already upon us. Yeah. Right. Nobody really. I mean, we have the millionaires, the influx of millionaires. They say that 1 in 50 African American people is a millionaire, and 1 in 7 white people is a millionaire now in America. Right. Wow. So those are some pretty huge numbers. But what about everyone else? Right. Very true. Everyone else is pretty much living hand to mouth. I mean, they can't even afford health care, like basic goods for living. Things that, you know, we took for granted when I was growing up. People just don't have. I mean, people, they can't even afford, you know, healthful food, you know? Right. So, I do agree. And more importantly, on another note, we had 5 or 10 years. I mean, I became a silver stacker about 4 years ago. At first, I started stacking silver, and then, okay, once I reached a point where I said, okay, my rule is only have enough silver that you can personally take with you in an SHTF situation. So then I moved to gold. And then after that, I went to Bitcoin. Okay. Right. And so now I just try to, I think food is your only real help, because that's the biggest thing, like, that freaks me out, like being in the desert. When the trucks stop rolling, it's going to be total chaos, you know? So, but what's fascinating to me is you touched on this during several of your interviews, that this whole thing began years back with the monetization of gold, right? So this was all planned and timed, and everything's just fallen into place now, right? So it's just sort of like, it's inevitable, correct? Right, I do agree. And another thing is with our debt, and just how, you know, everything seems to be colliding right now, like with all the government
threatened to shut down in 2 days if the budget isn't met, and they got a tax reform and all that stuff going on. This is all just internal problems, not to mention all the problems we've caused and are partaking in outside of our country. So it's more news and more stuff happening outside this country and inside this country than that I could myself could cover. That's why I'm looking to have people call in such as yourself and share your input, because you have a voice. And so, I want to provide you opportunity to share. So I thank you for calling in, definitely, and continue to watch and chime in via chat or call in and in the future. So this is something new. So I appreciate you being the very first call, Silver Star.
It was my pleasure, and I'm excited to find out the topics that you're going to cover during this episode.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Nice. I have my very first call. Silver Star, appreciate you calling in. And so, yeah, this whole idea of cash, it's basically considered our personal property. We work for it and we earn it, and we don't really actually receive it physically in our hand until we go to the bank to withdraw it. But most people have direct deposit nowadays. But the idea of removing that from us is quite shocking. And a lot of people don't even really know about it, or for the most part seem to really care, in my opinion. So it's unfortunate that in the meantime, we need to have something physical in our hands, but yet, as Rial mentioned, hyperinflation, when it starts, you're not going to want to hold cash. That's going to be the sad part. Everyone's going to be trying to get rid of cash. And so most people say, okay, he's probably not telling the truth, or he's probably lying. Just look at all the countries around us that's having, monetary problems. We have, of course, Venezuela, all the mainstream countries, Venezuela, Zimbabwe right now having problems. We have, I think it's Nigeria's having problems, and Brazil's having problems, South Africa. So all these countries are suffering right now, and it all has to do with their monetary policy. So just wanted to share that. But anyway, so what else are you guys mind? Any other thoughts on the whole cash situation? Anybody want to chime in the chat or via call in again? I would appreciate that. So do I think 2018 will be the economic crash? I do not think 2018 will be the economic crash. I think, just my opinion, of course, that the idea and the realization of the recession might be in the works right now. And so just to even touch on that a little bit, I'll go right to that article that I wanted to hint at, and it has to do with Marvin Goodfriend. Let me pull this up. Marvin Goodfriend, who is an economist, and also the nominee for the Federal Reserve right now. So here's an article here that came out today, actually yesterday, but it says Trump's latest pick for the Fed is no fan of paper money. So he's on the line of Roger, what's his name? The guy who wrote The Curse from Cash. He mentions in this article. So anyway, so just the topic, the idea that cash is a topic now that people are questioning should be of concern to you, because they're talking about what everyone works for and what everyone saves and holds on to and considers their own. So anyway, just give you an idea, I'll highlight some things. I'll read through it briefly. It says, given his radical views on monetary policy, is no hyperbole to suggest that Goodfriend's nomination would represent a genuine danger to the economic well-being of every American citizen. So this is an article written by Peter Coy, who said that it's a threat, it's a danger to economic well-being of every American citizen, or at least outside the financial services. It says cash means freedom, which is why so many officials hate it. And so that's a little thought from the Mises Institute. Then let's give you a little bit more. It says Goodfriend is concerned that the existence of cash makes it harder for the Fed to lower interest rates below zero. So there's just the idea that come the next recession or come the next economic downturn, which is what all this is actually playing into. That's why this is even a topic of conversation right now. Like, let's talk cash. We're talking about the idea that these are preparations for the next recession. And he's going to hint at something in a minute that I'm going to highlight that's going to really help you bring that home. It says the Fed lowers rates. Says the Fed might want to push the rate to negative territory. They want to push. They might want to push. So the fact that they are even considering it lets me know that they're going to do it, barring some other event happening or something like that. It says the Fed might want to push interest rates to negative territory to prod people to stop sitting on their money. So the whole goal is to go negative so that people will come out of some of the money they're sitting on. It says do something with it, such as consume or invest. So the goal is, by going negative, is to get that cash flowing. Just to make it less convenient for people to hoard cash, he says in his paper, referring to Mr. Goodfriend, it says the government could phase out high denomination bills or charge banks and the public whenever paper money is paid out. So here's 3 simple ways. It says, but even the steps, here's 3 simple steps that was kind of highlighted in his paper that he wrote, Mr. Marvin Goodfriend, the economist who's up for nomination or who's a nominee for the Federal Reserve Board. It says one simple step is to abolish paper currency. And then the next one here is to break for one link between the value of a dollar bill and the value of money deposited in the bank. It says if the use of negative interest rates lower the amount of your deposit in the bank from $1 to 90 cents, then your paper dollar bill would also become worth only 90 cents. So these are options that these people are mentioning. It's a threat to our personal right and liberty in the form of having cash. It says currency cards, which will look like a credit or debit card, but represent real money straight from the Fed. So here we go. The idea of a Fed card, or if the Federal Reserve decides to use the blockchain, this could easily be a Fed coin. So these are some things that are, being positioned for the next time we have some type of great recession. And so here's a quote right here. It says the author of this asked Harvard's Rogoff, the guy who wrote The Curse of Cash, and here's a statement he made. He says what he thinks about Goodfriend's nomination. So he was asked what did he think about the nomination of Goodfriend, and he said, thank goodness there will be someone at the Fed with the foresight to realize that the world needs to start thinking about how central banks can best deal with the inevitable next deep financial crisis. So these people are already beginning to plot and plan on how they're going to deal with what he considers what's inevitable, the next deep financial crisis. So there we have, just the idea that, here's an article where they have already they already have plans for the idea when there is a next financial crisis or recession or whatever it might want to be called. It's going to have to do with cash. So that's why I wanted to get this out tonight and to share this with you guys, because if you're not paying attention to mainstream news, and it's good to say you have no clue about this article, and you may not really be paying much attention about the cash or what you have in your savings or bank account or any of your financial instruments, which are denominated in Federal Reserve notes. So they're all under attack by the idea that if we go into recession, they're plotting and planning on removing cash from your possession. And so that's something that who could ever imagine. But yet, here's another thing, the fact that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is getting so much attention, most people may say, I don't even care, they can have my cash. But here's the thing, if they remove cash or the Federal Reserve note or the $100 note is abolished, then at that point, how will you get out of your Bitcoin or cryptos or whatever? What are you going to exchange it for other than directly for goods? So most people are holding cryptos. And right now, I like the fact that somebody mentioned how Bitcoin is at an all-time high. It says Bitcoin is at 14,000, and you can see it reaching 20, B mode 32. So how about this? We're measuring the value, or we're labeling or stating the value of a Bitcoin in dollars. So here we are. If they remove cash, it's good to say that there's no real dollar then, other than a digital ledger in the form of what we already have now. When we swipe our credit cards and debit cards, it's transactions being created. So if you want to get out of a Bitcoin, what are you going to get out of Bitcoin into other than directly exchanging it for something? So that might be something we're thinking about. It says a wellness 81 might be a mega bubble. What are we talking about here? Might be a mega bubble. What are you referring to? Absolute stereo of cash chasing markets higher. Bitcoin has to be some kind of warning call. Unprecedented phenomenon. Yeah, it is. It is a phenomenon. I must admit that. Did you see last night's USA Watchdog Greg Hunter here on YouTube? I did not. I do watch Greg Hunter, but I did not see that episode. Want to share with me what happened? You're gonna call in. Good deal. Looking forward to your call. Yeah, that's the thing. I kind of forgot that I would like people to call in. I would rather you call in. So please call in and share with me your thoughts and what's on your mind. I want to make this an interactive show where your viewers have a chance to voice their opinions and allow your voice to be heard. That's why it's called a voice for the people. I want people to get involved. 2018 in general. All right.
Grasshopper, call for extension.
Hello? Hello?
I can hear me.
I can hear you kind of, sort of. Go ahead. Can you hear me? Hello? I can tell that you're there, but I can't hear your voice. All right, so it looks like that one did not go through. If you would like to try to call again, please do. It says, what do I think about the Gold Money app, B-Mode 32? I mentioned that last time that when James Turk came on my show, I think about 2 years ago, he mentioned BitGold at that time and how they were going to, do what they're doing now with Gold Money. And it was a great idea because it was right in time, considering the fact that there's so much stuff happening in the precious metals market, because there was no real crypto craze just yet. So I thought it was a great idea and still do think it's worthwhile. But I'm kind of, nowadays, Gold Money itself has changed. Too much interference. Was getting crosstalk. Okay, if you get crosstalk, try calling again, because I had you on a speaker. And so I'll try to remove the speaker so that I can hear you directly from the phone and see if that works better. But Gold Money, I do have it. I do use it, but yet I don't really bank on it. I mean, it's a good way of, just spreading some Federal Reserve notes out, so in that regards, I look at it that way, but I don't think it has a future long term because, once again, if you need to get your precious metals, you got to, go on the app, do all this stuff and then have it sent to you. And so, yeah, I wouldn't really bank on that much. Hello?
Grasshopper, call for extension 0. To accept, press 1. To send the voicemail, press
I'll accept
2.
that.
To hear the phone number, press 3.
Hello?
To accept, press 1. To send the voicemail, press 2. To hear...
Hello.
Hello.
Hey there, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing excellent, man. I appreciate you giving me a call. May I ask your first name? Where you calling from? Trying to see where the audience is located at.
My name is Matt. I'm calling from Seattle.
Matt from Seattle. Nice to meet you, my friend.
Nice to meet you. What is your name?
My name is Michael. From outside. So I'm from Michael from Detroit. I got the little Motown building behind me.
So you're really touching on some really interesting points, and you have been. I've started following you since a couple months ago.
I appreciate it.
I've been really liking the direction and the conversation that you're kind of bringing.
No, thank you.
There's a lot of questions I've been thinking about myself. Just a quick background. I haven't known much about the economy up until recently. I bought into crypto, saw that first was interested in silver and gold, bought into that. But really felt I've always been a news junkie, and I just love to know information.
Mm-hmm.
And I never really knew anything about the economy and global finance, all that. So I started learning about it, and it's brought me to a really interesting confluence of facts. I didn't realize how important knowing the economic side of things really kind of cleared up the truth.
Right. I do agree.
Yeah. So you're talking about what's the future of cash, or what's the use of cash? Very interesting question right now.
Yeah. So just give you a little background on myself, how I got into this. I mean, years ago, back in my younger days, I played professional sports, so I traveled a lot. And so what really caught my attention was in various countries that I was in, I was fascinated by currency. And so I ended up collecting a lot of currency, and still to this day, I do travel still, whatnot. So I love collecting currency, but every currency or every note now has a story behind it. And so I started to see how all of these other countries started collapsing and having problems. So it got me researching about, my country. And so started watching a lot of YouTube channels and reading a lot of books, and I've been very fortunate to speak to a lot of, smarter guys than myself. And so I'm a news junkie and a education junkie myself. And so I realized how important monetary, as I call it, monetary awareness is. And to what a point we never learned in school. So most of us going around here, you know, working and living, but not really knowing what we're doing it for or what we're using with it. So I think it's education that is well needed, man. So I try my best to, you know, help more people wake up to the reality of that, you know, the dollar is not what it seems or what it's going to be much longer. So that's what it is, man. But give me your thoughts on like cash. What do you see? Do you see, like I just mentioned that Marvin Goodfriend, the nominee for the Federal Reserve Board, and his comments? What do you think about that?
Okay, so specifically, you mean in terms of like getting away from paper cash and moving into, I guess, some other type of cash?
Yeah, so I think paper, fiat currency in general is going to be tested heavily in the days ahead. So the question would be options. I mean, how will we, if we can't exchange cash? Most people don't realize or have precious metals, or not a lot of people are in Bitcoin. So what do you see being a medium of exchange if cash is removed or we're forced to use just solely digits? How do you see that being? How do you see that impacting our society and our way of life?
Oh, I think it's gonna. If that happens quickly without a smooth transition, it's gonna be devastating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quite simply, everything. The hyperinflation would happen so fast, and you know, you're talking about how you traveled around and you've seen other countries' currency, and you've heard the story. I've listened to interviews talk about this before.
Mm-hmm.
You said that you would talk to friends and they would recount how quickly things can change.
Right.
And if you look at, a lot of Americans have what you call the monetary education, or like monetary literacy.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of Americans aren't given that by design, in my opinion.
Right.
Because we live in that, and you know, it's changed throughout the generations to know less and less about it. Now people are so used to holding paper instead of like coin or silver or gold, whatever it may be, and knowing that that is actual money, that we're getting to the point now where people are so used to looking at it as ones and zeros on a computer screen, and they're getting comfortable with that.
Right. Have you noticed? I mean, I'm sure you have but have you? I mean, I because I talk about this subject so much, everything catches my attention. So have you noticed that every commercial now, for the most part, either talks about earning cash back, or swiping your card, or tapping your phone, or tapping your watch, or tapping your ring, or tap?
Yeah.
And so
very it's very short-term gratification as opposed to like long-term wealth building and like what is real money. You know, that's like saying, yeah, I mean, it's just our attention spans are so small that that's what we're looking for.
Right. Yeah, man. So it's going to be interesting in the days ahead, man. So my biggest thing is, you know, to try to help as many people as possible to just begin asking questions about why things are the way they are, and especially the idea that the Federal Reserve right now is they're baffled on how inflation is created, and where in reality, you know, measuring real prices of real goods is already through the roof. So the fact that they're wondering how inflation is not at their standards yet is going to be a problem.
Well, they're not really baffled. They're just claiming that they're baffled.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, how can you? It seems hard to play dumb at the highest level of financial. Because I mean, the fact that Jenna Yellen said, like, I don't know how. I forgot her comment exactly, but she was like, I'm not sure how this inflation thing works, or something like that. I'm thinking, like, you a PhD economist?
Well, obviously that's not true. She probably has more education as an actor.
Yeah.
But okay, so I think that what we're talking about here is plausible deniability.
Mm-hmm.
This allows the smartest people in the world to point to the Fed chairman, who's got a PhD in economics and all this stuff, and was appointed by the smartest people in the world,
mm-hmm.
to say that no, everything's fine. Why would they be saying that if it weren't fine? I mean, it's just so plainly simple manipulation of our perception that, you know, we should actually, as Greg and Manarino would say, pretty much think the opposite of what they say is true, and that's pretty accurate.
Right, and that's
what do you think about a new Fed chairman being appointed at, you know, Alan Greenspan had a tenure that was quite like 20 years, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Ben Bernanke was what, 10 years?
Yeah, around that.
And then Yellen is now less. I mean, but then you also look at the intervals of crashes after, or corrections, whatever you want to call it, after these new chairmen are appointed. What do you think about this new chairman as the harbinger of?
Yeah, Mr. Powell, from what I've read and what I've heard, I mean, it's not much he can do other than something radical policy-wise, because if he doesn't do something radical, he has to play along with what's been done before him to keep things looking somewhat stable, even though, you know, everything around him is, you know, questionable. And I just look at the idea that right now there's 4 board. There's four positions open at the Fed with Stanley Fisher out of nowhere just resigning. So there's 4 openings. Why are everybody so pressed to leave, or why is that job no longer a job worth having? Because they obviously may know something or sense something that perhaps they realize that the course of their policy of 100+ years of central banking is about to be tested, because they can no longer enslave us with more debt because we tapped out. I mean, the world's tapped out right now. So maybe they see the writing on the wall. So other than keeping it going, there's not much he can do. So, and that's why I'm kind of waiting to see if this whole Trump gonna drain the swamp type thing, because if you don't drain the swamp, I mean, it's gonna drown us, So it's gonna be interesting to see, man. But yeah, I don't really think much difference I don't expect much different, put like that.
I do expect much different.
Okay.
In terms of both things, I expect much different in terms of what the future has in store for us, and I think we're coming into. I think I was the one that commented about reading The Fourth Turning. I think we're coming into a fourth turning, a once in a generation, life-defining cultural event, global event that everyone will remember forever.
Yeah.
And it can go, a couple ways. But if Trump really is draining the swamp, then this is the question that I would have: is what would be the softest landing that he could give this economy?
Ooh, softest landing. Wow. Hey, softest landing.
What could he do to make it, to lessen the impact? Because he's out there talking about the stock market being an all-time high, saying check your 401ks. I'm trying to look for decoded messages in there, like get out of your 401k, get out of the stock market. But I don't hear any of that.
Right. Soft landing. I've never thought about that one. A soft landing, just because if you look at how the prior current reserve currencies have ended in the past, it's always been war, indebtedness, entitlements, crash, burn, something new is implemented. So if that model continues on, or something similar, because we're already in war, we're already tapped out as far as being able, we don't produce anything. We're in deficit. We're in a negative in every area of our, every measurement, every way you can measure. So what is a soft landing? Because half our country, 1/3 is not employed or happily employed. So there's, everyone's living. Yeah. I don't know. That's a good question.
My answer would be that a soft landing would be letting the market correct and just letting it go. Get the exchange stabilization fund out of there. Get all that stuff and just let it go. And that will bring upon a, possibly a decade or longer recession. The other side of it, I think, is far worse, and that is to just keep propping it up. And that leads to hyperinflation, which then leads to all the things that you had just mentioned in an uncontrollable and destabilizing, chaotic way.
Yeah. Yeah. And so either option is going to be a shock, and the shock itself will cause people to panic. And then that panic will lead to civil unrest, and that civil unrest will lead to, unfortunately, a lot of lives lost because of scrambling for goods and things like that. So I mean that's a soft landing.
Sounds radical to say, but I mean the math is kind of unavoidable. I think starvation. Looks like it might be the biggest culprit.
Whew, that's something, man.
So what is cryptocurrency all about?
Yeah,
you had mentioned before that the skyrocketing price is getting a little uneasy. Like people, I follow it, I'm in the space, and people are getting uncomfortable with how fast it's moving up. And I think it's priming us for something else, but it's also bringing about the conversation of hyperinflation, and keeping it unregulated is kind of like baiting people to jump in.
Right.
And I don't know. I think.
But then the question will be how do you go about regulating it to where it wouldn't open up the door for real manipulation, to where the people who already control the system is heavily involved and able to manipulate it for their own benefit. Because right now it's kind of seem to be like a free for all, whoever wants to get involved type of thing, opportunity. But yet if it's regulated, they're gonna have some restrictions and things like that, which is going to cause problems in a sense.
So if they regulate it, for one, then they could bring it into they could basically launder money with it, right? They could institutionalize this manipulation that they would love to do that. And I think that the CBOE and the CME futures are probably going to do that. I've been watching Bitcoin. It tries to correct, and it gets propped up and stopped.
Yeah.
And I just can't help but think they're waiting for futures to come online so they can short it, and they're pumping it up in the meantime. But it's not. It isn't regulated, but it's not like they can't manipulate it.
Yeah.
I mean, they've made, you can have a whole army of bots that just buy up small amounts over the course of a month, you know, and how much would you accumulate in that same amount of time?
Right.
But no one knows who created this stuff, and there's some people that are very early in the scene that have a lot of it, and we don't know who all those people are. And, you know, I mean, there's some serious potential for manipulation.
Yeah, I do agree. I do agree. And so time will tell. And so if you, I mean, I'm sure you watch a lot of other alternative gentlemen, and everyone has prices going to, you know, 100,000, 200. I mean, they're calling off numbers that is just beyond belief, which is so enticing, where people coming out the woodworks trying to get involved. So yeah, this is never.
I think they're going to keep. I think they're going to keep pumping it until they leave people no choice. So they jump in because they see the stock market stalled out, and then if they leave it unregulated, which is curious why they would leave it unregulated, it's become such a big space. Then if it does crash, then it's your own fault for jumping in.
Yeah, that is very true. And so
it's a bunch of capital.
Yeah. So no matter what, it's going to be some shocks coming in 2018, I believe. Either it's going to be driven by some excitement, but then it has a potential of turning into a lot of, you know, discomfort for a lot of people. And so between now and then, man, I appreciate you calling in, and hopefully, you know, however you can share with your family, friends, those that want to listen. On my end, everyone knows my things and my thoughts, and they're, you know, some family are tuned in. So one by one, everyone's waking up, man. So the goal is to wake up as many people as possible to hold a couple things other than just these dangerous notes that we are so used to trusting in. So because confidence is high now, but won't be forever. So yeah, man. But no. Yo, go ahead.
Thanks for letting me call in. Can I leave you with a question? I'll
yes.
Take it out there.
Okay, no problem.
So we're talking about gold and silver and what happens to their price, and at what point do you quit buying? I saw some comments earlier on. At what point would you quit buying gold or silver? And my answer to that would be when it's obviously no longer manipulated, it's just going to skyrocket, just like cryptocurrency. People are going to it's just going to become a market. But what maybe is something to consider is that because the yuan is becoming the new petro reserve currency of the world, potentially, that maybe they will just reprice gold and silver and say, we will take physical metals for this price. And that'll force the futures commodities market to readjust their price. Otherwise, they're just willing to lose money. Do you think that they would do a price reevaluation, or do you think they would actually scale up? And thank you for taking my call.
My pleasure. Thanks for calling in. Yeah, I believe that they're going to reprice metals. They're going to reprice metals. And so I believe that's what a lot of that Shanghai gold and all that, all the things they have in place right now is designed to basically at some point, as I mentioned the other night, when they are ready to cut on the switch for all the infrastructure they're building and all the plans they have, they're going to basically revalue gold to what it should be. And I believe they're going to more so do it according to how many yuan or renminbis they put into existence. Because remember, like, you know, there's a debt influx just within China in and of itself, to where they have trillions upon trillions. So I can see them saying, hey, we have 20,000 tons or whatever it may be. And so we have 20 trillion, 200 trillion, whatever it may be. I don't know the exact numbers. So we're going to say for 1 gram is going to be worth 10,000 yuan or whatever they may come out with, to where it's going to balance their books off big time, because they could then say all this debt we have, it's now attached to this gold we have as well. So now, you know, we got the most gold, so show me what you got. And if you don't have enough, you know, bow down, basically, is what I believe. So gold will be revalued, and, you know, we're going to be called to the carpet as to whether or not we're holding anything in Fort Knox and the New York Fed. So yeah, that's my thoughts, man. But I appreciate you calling in. Thanks for definitely chiming in. And so definitely it's interesting to be able to speak with someone directly. So I'm enjoying this TikTok. So soft landing. Yeah, the soft landing, even though that was in comparison to what could be technically soft, but it just still sounds like it's going to hurt. So it won't be much of it won't be a comfortable landing. It might be soft in comparison to what we could have, but definitely prolonging this thing on will cause, you know, more pain than we can imagine. So yeah, man. So some more questions out here. What are your thoughts about this upcoming year? What are some predictions or some things we may not have covered outside of cash? Give me some thoughts out there. What's on your mind? What are you guys keeping an eye on? Anybody want to share anything? Yeah, I'll go back and check out some comments. It says in digital form, I think paper money on drive. Yes, because war plan, gold rush. Yeah. So another thing I want to hint on. Oh, we got bow down. Bitcoin 100,000. So some people say 100,000 by 2020, but at the pace it's on now, I could see it being a lot sooner than 2020. You say around March of 2018 or 2019, or what's the number to call in? If the number is right above my head, it's a 1-833 Live-RTD. Love to hear from you. What's the number to call? It's a net neutrality, taking down the net. Taking down the net would definitely put a damper in everyone's plans for cryptocurrencies. Food will be the next currency. Yep, you can't live without it. If you have it, you pass. By 2020, you see 21.93 million dollars a Bitcoin, or the, yeah, that gotta be, oh, that's pretty high. Tax season 2018. If Elon Musk invented Bitcoin. That's interesting. Satoshi Nakamoto. And here's another thing: the idea that I believe Andy Hoffman mentioned how he's breaking down the total count of Bitcoin, saying that there's 1,000 locked up by the creator. So Satoshi Nakamoto sitting on 1 million Bitcoins as of now, whoever they are, or whoever he is. That 3 or 4 million were lost. So that only leaves 16 or 17 million left, or however that will be, in the market, period. So the question is, who's this person sitting on 1 million Bitcoin? Because it's good to say they're just sitting back enjoying this hype right now to have 1 million Bitcoins locked up somewhere. Bitcoin is doing a 5x annually, so doing the math, it will be 100K by 2019. Silver Star, good one there, good one. Yeah. So who's that said they're going to call in? I'm open for some more conversation. Even though it's late night, I enjoy the conversation. It's always good to connect with like-minded individuals. So I love people who are aware and willing to chime in. You're neglecting more adopters. Oh, I'm not saying that there's going to be more people coming into this space, because I mean, what's interesting is the continent of Africa, as well as the Middle East and Asian countries where, standard of living is low and people don't have access to internet other than through cell phones. Like I know a couple of countries in Africa is actually beginning the process of using cell phones for transactions through, some type of, software program or something like that. So once the blockchain gets in Africa, it's going to really take off, even though there's not much money going in, but people are going to find money to put in. Cash will not be taken away. It will become extinct. Similar to VHS. Yeah, that's definitely popular. Crypto gives the Fed a free pass but screws the government. Next wave, February, April, tax season. Who wants 100,000 Bitcoin and no dollars? 100,000 Bitcoin, 100,000 Bitcoin, no dollars. Yeah. So the thing is, like another subject is that every country around us has gone through a reissuing of currency, except the United States of America. We've had a Federal Reserve note for now 100+ years, so we're long overdue for a new currency of some kind.
Grasshopper, call for.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey there.
Hey, name is Charlotte. I'm from Montana.
Hello, Charlotte from Montana. How you doing? Thanks for calling.
Oh yeah, no problem. I just put a question up there about Bitcoin.
Uh-huh.
I don't have a quick question about Bitcoin, but I look at it and I go, what if this is a test? Do you remember what happened in Cyprus a few years back, where they shut the banks down?
Yep, I do.
And I look at that and I see everybody jumping on this Bitcoin bandwagon because of course it's going up.
Right.
And I'm a history major. I'm a veteran. I've traveled all over the world. And I'm lucky enough to be old enough. I'm 61 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And my great-grandmother lived till she was 90. So I sat at these people's feet that lived through the Great Depression.
Right.
And I I look at this, and what are people buying Bitcoin with?
Federal Reserve notes and fiat currencies or central bank issued paper.
And where are they getting their cash from to buy it?
From, I would imagine, from their hard sweat and labor from their employers.
And their 401ks.
Correct. Or yes, the retired generation, yes.
So I mean, I believe the government has access to our 401ks. There's no doubt about that. My Army career was centered with NSA. It was tied to NSA.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody out there thinks that NSA doesn't know how to break Bitcoin down, they're fooling themselves.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree.
So I mean, is this a way to move money out of savings from Americans, and whoever owns this winds up owning it all?
That's the thing. Like, I believe that we're clearly in uncharted waters. I don't think, not to my recollection, ever been positioned to be able to see the development of a new technology being created that is already causing a paradigm shift. And so the fact that we are currently in the midst of shifting out of an old way of doing things with paper and central bank issued directly money and currency to a mysterious software-based blockchain that has a lot of benefits on the surface, but no one really knows the underlying roots of it and where it's going to take us as a people. So it's time will tell, unfortunately. And so it's one thing that you can either participate with it or play on the sidelines or what, but no matter what, change is still happening around us. So it is definitely of concern to me as well. So
yeah, I think you're right. I think when China says we have enough gold, this is over.
Yeah. Tony Blaylock, we are not in uncharted waters. Elaborate, buddy. Yeah. So the biggest thing is now wait and see. I think 2018 is going to be a year that I think more truth will come out, whether it be in the political realm with what President Trump is doing. And I've heard a lot of people talk about indictments that's coming and things like that. So there's going to be a lot of shocking news in the political front, the monetary global front, as well as our economy. So we're going to
I think the political front is this is crazy, and I think it's taking the eye off the ball. If you're watching what's going on in politics today, you're missing things.
Yeah. So the question is how to get more people in tune with this same type of conversation me and you are having. That's the key. Because you're aware, I'm aware, the people who are watching us right now, they're aware, but it's the people who are asleep at the wheel that we need to reach.
Right. I mean, I can't even, my kids have been around me all my life. I still have 3 that are here at home.
Mm-hmm.
They look at me like I'm crazy because their whole world is digital.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm not going to do that. And that's because of my exposure to my grandparents.
Right.
I am not going to put myself in a position where I have everything sitting out there in cyberspace, which is not in fact reality. So I don't know which way to go here. I'm gonna stay on the path I'm on.
Right.
And like I said in the last chat I came in, I have no debt.
Mm.
I'm sitting here 120 miles away from a city.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to sit here and watch it because I've thought about moving since my husband passed away 3 years ago.
Right.
But, the more I think about it, I think I'm going to stay right here in Montana and sit and watch. But I see this like a Cypress thing. This is a test to see how people will react. And if people keep buying into this, then they will move to a cryptocurrency that is first U.S., which is actually tied to the IMF.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because nobody does know who owns Bitcoin. It wouldn't be. I wouldn't be surprised if any government owned it. I mean, to me, it's not tangible.
Right. Right. And that's the thing. It's a digital software ledger. However, I mean, I'm not technical like that, but I know it's through a computer. And so because it's through a computer, it's the same as our current dollar now. There's more digits in the form of ledgers and computers than there are actual paper. So the fact that where the conversation topic started with let's talk cash. Cash is going extinct right now because there's not enough cash to go around and account for all those digits. So you factor in the fact we have a lot of financial assets tied in a 401k, IRA, all that's just, computer code, and some hedge funds is computer. But yet, if everyone try to withdraw and get it in cash, there will be a hell of a problem because there's not enough cash to go around. Not to mention cryptocurrency to go around to collect and absorb all that paper. So, yeah. Anyway, go.
Well,
Yeah.
That's not even including the amount that's overseas.
True. Very true.
2/3 of our money is overseas.
Right. Good point there.
So,
good point there. Well, thank you for calling in. I'm glad you're joining us, and definitely hope you continue to watch and share and get more people in tune.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for calling. Interesting conversation there. Interesting. You're very good. It's very good to hear from a variety of people from around the country that all share the same concerns and realizing that something is not right and things are not what they seem. And so all it takes is, I believe just one voice to begin really bringing about change. So I believe you guys are definitely doing that tonight. So appreciate you chiming in. So what did I miss in the chat? Do worry, the tree is coming. Arthur, what does that mean? That's probably some chat. I wasn't involved in that. You can't dumb down. Don't trade it. So yeah, anything else? Anything else in you guys' mind? I know it's late. It's really late here on the East Coast. It says, RTD, check this for real. All right, let me check. I will check it and see. Someone sharing a video with me. I said, do you really understand Bitcoin? 51% attack. Programmer explains. All right, so it's 11 minutes. So I'll keep it up on my screen and I'll definitely check it. I'll watch it before I'm done here. Safest thing to do is to just hedge. Have some BTC, some precious metals, some real estate. Hell, even hold on to 20 hours worth of worthless garbage USD. A little of everything. Good point. Yeah, like, the idea that, they're trying to remove cash, but in the meantime, it still serves a purpose. It's still good to exchange for what we need, even though it doesn't purchase as much. So yeah, it's as my shirt says, it's a hazardous medium of exchange. Beware. Exchange, it says save and invest at your own risk. Save and invest at your own risk. Yeah, good conversation, good topic. So yeah, so I think kind of coming on the home stretch here, unless anyone has any conversations, or at least one more person might want to call in and chime in the conversation and share a last minute thought. I know some person mentioned about being excited for 2018. I'm extremely excited for 2018. Despite all the things that's happening, it's more so from a faith standpoint. I believe that, everything's happening is by design and God clearly knows what's going on. So everything is going to be A-okay at the end of the day. Bitcoin craze seems like it's 29, like the 29 crash. This will go on forever. I drove through Montana once. This experience, I kind of love it. Montana. Never been to Montana. Never been to Montana. Definitely would like to go. All investing is risky. Very true. And that's the thing nowadays. It just even the word investing sounds funny because it's basically gambling. Like with the stock market, you put your money in the Dow at 24,000 plus. That's gambling because it's not real. It's artificial. So we're kind of like everything now seems to be speculating or gambling, however you want to call it. The idea of truly investing, I'm not sure that's what we really call it or going to call it much longer. Get rich quick scheme. I am no one's problem and I own some. All right, Omnibone. So before I sign off for the night, I appreciate the chat and everything. Anybody else want to drop one more last call so we can get somebody's voice, because this is a voice for the people. So the goal is to get some voices out there. Anybody want to chime in and give a last minute call? Allen Park, Michigan. So I'm there once in a while near you. Yeah, Allen Park. That's on the west side with that statement. And hyperinflation doesn't last forever. True, it just hurts temporarily until a suggestion is brought about in the form of something to build up confidence again. Love these live chats. Thank you, Jay Scott. Appreciate it. Wanted to, definitely do more of them. So I figured it'd be ideal to get a line so people can call in, because my whole intention in doing these live chats is to get people to call in and voice their opinions. because that I think is important to actually hear other people. It's one thing to go back and forth, you know, chatting up and down the side of the computer, but it's another thing to actually talk to a real person. Hyperinflation will clear things out in 6 months to 2 years. Appreciate it, Martha. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. I enjoy having an opportunity to share my thoughts and opinions with people, and also to give you guys an opportunity to share your thoughts with the overall RTD community. So appreciate it. Hyperinflation will clear things out in 6 months. All right, well, it looks like we are going to drive down, come down to the home front. My pleasure, Bruce. So we'll wrap things up here. It was almost about an hour. And so the last conversation, it went about 2 hours. And because, like, you know, I guess you guys, when you're caught up in the conversation, enjoying going back and forth, you kind of lose track of time. That's always a sign that you're enjoying yourself. So, but tonight I told myself I wasn't going to go all night long, because after a while you kind of just, you know, get physically tired. So give your thoughts on the Bitcoin futures market, bud. Well, without even really knowing much about it, because I haven't really looked into it, hold that thought.
Grasshopper, call for.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey there. How you doing?
I'm all right. How are you doing?
Excellent. What's your name and where you calling from, Max?
Roger. I'm in Texas.
Roger from Texas. Thanks for calling me, my friend. What's on your mind?
Well, you said you like to hear some voices, and I just think, well, let's use cash. It's kind of a reverse boycott thing.
Yeah.
My whole life, I'm in my 50s, and my whole life I've seen people that use cash, and then it went to, oh, checking is so convenient. Oh, now we have credit cards. You know, they've been leading us down the primrose path, and they've been funneling us into this for, you know, 100 years, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, if we want to get control of it, we have to start using cash. So there's no way that they can abolish cash. Right.
I do agree.
If they do that, then they've got the power, man.
Right. Now here's you know, I do agree, but here's another thing about that. Nowadays, like, you're aware of the importance of having physical cash, but the centennial generation, those 25 and younger, they don't want cash. Those are the ones that are going to go along with the removal of cash and see it as actually something exciting, because, you know, who wants to carry paper where you can just swipe a card or tap your phone? So the younger generation is the ones that will be a problem, because, you know, they're the future. They don't know anything about monetary history as of now. So yeah, definitely. I'm more conscious of that. I try to use more cash as best I can, but yet then it's the inconvenience of having to go to ATM. And so, yeah, so unless you want to carry lots of, you know, big wad on you, it does have its headache, comes with a headache too.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the gilded cage syndrome, isn't it?
Yeah. So I imagine we're probably experiencing the same type of concerns that they did probably 100+ years ago, when the idea of removing coins was not the idea of carrying change in your pocket and having to carry bags of silver to go make large transactions. And so it's like, well, I'd rather just have paper because it folds in my pocket. So now we're like, I'd rather have a card because it's just one single card. I can swipe whatever I want. So I guess we have evolved, but yet along with evolving, you know, we lose our rights as well and freedoms.
Well, we've got to figure it out, because, I mean, when you go back to the barter system, gold and silver were more convenient than trading cows for chickens, right?
Yeah.
So there's something we're missing. We've got to get it, and I pray the good Lord gives it to us.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And that's a good thing. God knows what's going on, so we're going to be fine. I appreciate your call, my friend. Thanks for tuning in, and definitely continue to, you know, fight the good fight.
Okay, man. You keep going.
I will. Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye.
Nice call there. Thank you for calling in. Definitely appreciate that. And so, gentlemen and ladies, and looks like we're going to wrap this up. Definitely had a good conversation tonight. Definitely covered some good things. I believe we, you know, got some opinions out there. So we'll just keep moving forward and seeing what the future brings as far as in the political realm with the government, and about 2 days with this whole budget situation and the whole tax reform. So the next conversation we probably have on the tax reform and how the idea that there's, you know, pressed to, you know, redo this tax stuff, not really going to help much anyway, in my opinion, because anything the government end up coming up with solution wise is only something to further along the problem they created. So it's going to be interesting. But anyway, any last thoughts? If not, I'm going to call it a night. Appreciate you guys sitting down with us, and enjoy your evening. And what else? Other than that, so if you guys are interested, so one thing I'm trying to do beyond go live and just get more people involved, also trying to put some gear on people. So I come up with these shirts that I wear. And if you guys are interested, I have a link below where you can check out some of the gear, RTD Live stuff. So definitely have some educational things I'm working on as well, because I believe that educating our children is going to be key, because that's our future. So have some stuff I'm working on. And other than that, appreciate you guys chiming in, and I will see you guys on the next live chat. Have a good night.